Hey guys, welcome back to Gamified. I'm Harley.
I'm Zuff.
And today we're talking about the new consoles that are going to come out next year, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And also, which one's the master race? Console or PC? Console. Definitely. Definitely console.
I'm at split minds, but let's talk about it. How do
Okay.
you want to start off?
I don't know. I'm actually really excited to get a new console. It's been about 7 years for both. So
What? 7 years since you've bought a new console?
No, I've bought new consoles. I just mean like a new generation console.
Yeah.
So I think PS4 came out in like 2000 and I want to say 13 or 14.
Yeah, and then Xbox has like 3 editions that have come out like
Or even
every year.
2012. Yeah.
Xbox One X has been probably about 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, you've had like the upgrades to like PS4 and then you had the Pro and then the Slim and all of that sort of stuff. But I mean like a full generation upgrade.
Yeah, not iterations of a generation.
Yeah. And I really feel like they are actually really upgrading everything.
Like from the specs of like
but
the
even for
rooms and
Xbox
specs.
as well, like, and you're more of an Xbox player than I am.
Definitely more of an Xbox player, yeah.
Yeah. But for the PS4, for me, definitely excited.
Yeah.
I'll buy 7.
Oh, PS5 you mean? You said PS4.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Now, okay, here's the thing. There's a few reasons why I'm actually quite excited about this newest generation, right? Because they're going to be using purpose-built AMD chips, right? Well, they're purpose like designed. Maybe it's existing architecture, right? With this new 3000 series Ryzen chips that have come out, which are really good price to performance for what they offer. And they're also going to be using the new Navi graphics cards, from what I've heard. Now, what level of graphics card they're going to be putting in there is kind of under debate, but it'll be kind of like the mobile version of apparently like a 1080 Ti or a 1080, which is, insane.
So one of the specs that I really am kind of like, really, is the 4K feature. I mean, can console really go 4K with the amount of frames that they're
here's the
clocking
thing.
at the moment? Like, unless they're going to up the frame rate.
Well, there's a few things that kind of make it like it will be possible, right?
Okay.
So there's the upgraded processing ability. That's a huge thing. The upgraded graphics, but then also the ability to like get the information off your drives, because they've been putting in like a hybrid SSD hard drive or just like a SSD drive in there finally after,
I know, and the fact that it's taken them this long to actually go, oh yeah, we could probably put that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I guess
it's about time. And then they're doing some
that's
other
why
things
PC has probably been the master race for so long, is because you have freedom to update and rebuild.
Yeah, well, that's exactly that's your upgradability is the biggest thing, right? There was a rumor going around for a while that there was like a Project Scorpio that was coming out for Xbox, which was like the upgradable Xbox, and I don't think it really ever came to fruition, and they kind of just moved it into like Xbox Scarlett, which is like now the one that's coming out next year in October or so, apparently.
Yeah,
and
where they just do the upgrades themselves.
Well,
I think they'd also were thinking about the fact that Scorpio, Project Scorpio, didn't work, was because people would be like, well, I'll source cheaper SSDs and things like that and graphics and stuff to put in it, and they would be losing revenue off that. Yeah,
I think so. Like, okay, so for the whole console versus PC debate, right, there's a few things that you really want to take into account. Like, console has a very low barrier of entry, right? All you need to do is buy the console, plug in a HDMI cable, and have your, the Xbox Gold account or your PlayStation Network account, whatever, and that's it. But with with the PC, you're gonna get maybe a bit more performance out of it, and you can use it as like an actual computer. But then you need to get Steam, and you need to get
all the launches,
exactly, yeah,
for Origin, all of the different games,
Epic, all those things, and it's just like, okay, there's a bit more of a headache when it comes to that. But then, with say you drop a similar amount, $600 on a computer to build it. We're going to go talk in US dollars because it just makes it a bit easier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you say you spend that much. You're not going to be able to get the same level of performance that you do out of like a console, only because the consoles games are optimized for the consoles, and they're all equal across the board. As in, like, you use the same hardware across all the consoles, so it's just like we know exactly what settings we need. When it comes to PC at the $600 range, because there's so much variance in the parts that you can use, then it's just going to be. 1 second, I'm going to pause for a sec.
Yeah.
Emil, stop burping and shit. We're recording. All right, and we're back.
Just pause so you can break all of that audio out and then start.
Yes. Okay, and we're back. So yeah, with like a PC, because you can put in so many things like an Intel or an AMD chip and different variants of graphics cards and SSDs, and there's compatibility issues and driver issues and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not as optimized. But eventually, you can upgrade that system with an extra few $100s. You can just upgrade one part, and it makes a huge difference. So it's like the longevity of the device becomes another thing with PCs. You can kind of just upgrade as you need to go. But with a console, you need to buy a whole new console.
Yeah. And that's what I was finding. Like I'm noticing now. I'm a collector, so I collected 2 of the special edition PS4s.
Yeah.
Just purely for cosmetic reasons. I know that's a lot of money to throw at that, but I'm a collector, and that's something I like. Hardware and that type of thing. Like I'm a gamer. That's what we do. So I have 2 PS4s, but I'm noticing because I'm playing off my Batman special edition one.
Mm-hmm.
It is starting to struggle. It is starting to die.
Well, I have
and that's okay because I'll have it all nicely put away and
just become a display thing.
And just a display thing. And I will not be touching my Days of Play one because that's purely for display.
I have a Halo Edition Xbox One, not even the Xbox One X or Xbox One S.
The Xbox One. But
and it looks so nice and everything, but it's definitely getting to the point where it's getting loud and struggling and everything. And I'm going, okay, you'll probably make it to like next year when the Xbox Scarlett comes out.
I don't think my PS4 will.
Oh, really? But you have a backup, so it's fine.
I'm not using the backup.
You're not going to use the backup?
The backup, it was purely for cosmetic reasons.
So what are you going to do once that one dies? You're just going to play on a computer until you get the PlayStation 5?
No, because I do play a lot of PlayStation games.
Mm.
I'm a PlayStation player. Like,
would you trade that one
when people
in?
go, do you play... I'm not... That's a Batman edition one. I'm not trading that in.
Yeah, that's true. That's a toughie. I don't know. I would just use the other one that's you say is only display for just a little bit until the PS5 comes out.
It's never been out of its box.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Like I know you're definitely. I
think I'd probably get a black one.
Just a plain old black one, so I can throw it around. Just a 500 gig, just to get me probably if it does die before the year's out. Yeah.
Or before PlayStation 5 comes out, I would probably just get a 500 gig one and just put games on there that I play regularly. So like the Borderlands series and maybe Uncharted and Apex and
like
a couple
3
of
or 4 games,
couple of games that I go back to and I play on a regular basis
until it gets you through to PS5.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be the annoying thing about the whole console versus PC, and then the whole console versus console debate, right? Which is PlayStation or Xbox better? And I know you're more of a PlayStation girl, and I'm more of a Xbox
I think
guy.
that it's purely the reason why is because that's where I started.
Yeah.
I started on PlayStation, much like you.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation was out well before Xbox.
Oh, well before.
Well before Xbox. So, in a sense, all of us are old school PlayStation players. Or we were GameCube or Nintendo. Like they were the two, and Nintendo was strong back then too.
It's getting strong now too.
Yeah,
right?
but it did go through a lull. Like after Wii,
lull.
And they brought out Wii U, and everyone's like,
"Yeah, Wii's like, what is this?
What
thing?
the fuck?"
But when they came out with the Nintendo Switch, that changed it.
And they're coming out with a Pro version as
and
well,
and a Lite version, which is now already released, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's more money I have to spend now.
So it's like a $500 for this Nintendo Switch normal.
Yeah.
And then it's like $300 Australian dollars, for the Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yep.
But it's kind of like almost like a bigger Game Boy where everything's just stuck there and you can't like dock it to like a TV or whatever and take the controllers off separately and play that. So it's just like a portable gaming system, which I think is kind of cool.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend $500. Like I play a couple of Nintendo games, like some Mario games, Zelda, and a few other things.
Yeah.
But not enough for me to go, fuck, I need to buy a whole console.
A whole console for it, yeah.
And I'm going to dedicate so much time because otherwise I won't use it. I really won't. I've bought Nintendo DSs. I played them for about 2 weeks and never touched them again.
You know what I was joking with Stitch with is I was like, I'm thinking of just buying a Nintendo Switch Lite just so I can play Overwatch on the go.
You know, and that would see things like that where like if you had to go to a LAN party and you couldn't take your PC, well you can't. I mean your PC setup is huge, but you don't have the money to build a LAN PC like you were going to.
You could just drop
that would be a freaking awesome idea.
Exactly. Here's the other thing though.
I quite like that idea. See, I would use that for that as well.
You know what I would use it for as well? More games that are cross-platform. Then you can go to a LAN party.
If Borderlands 3 comes out on Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
I would buy a fucking Nintendo Lite and have Overwatch and Borderlands on there. No worries.
Just have LAN parties or like just have a bunch of people come over and it'd be so much easier. Like the screen is smaller, but if you could actually hook it up to a bigger screen, like you could just put it straight into a monitor.
But yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to do that with the Lite. You'd probably do that with the console version.
I don't know if it has a HDMI out, like a mini HDMI out port, you could do it.
We'd have to look that up because we might go to EB after this.
You're just gonna go buy a few.
Just gonna buy some more stuff.
More stuff, yeah.
And maybe some new controllers because PS4 came out with new controllers and they're so pretty.
Back to the upcoming consoles, and then we'll come back around to console versus PC.
But I think the question you were posing was which one's superior out of Xbox and PlayStation.
And I think it's out of Xbox and PlayStation. I think they're equal.
For you, what is yours?
I think it's just equal. It just depends on what games you want to play and what exclusive titles you want to play and everything. And they're basically going to have almost the exact same hardware in them.
Yes.
Almost exactly the same.
For that point, I agree with you. For other points...
Okay, what do you think is superior and why?
I think, and you'll probably be shocked when I say this because, you know, I'm a full PS4 player. All of my friends have PS4, don't play online games with me on PS4. All of my friends on Xbox...
They play online.
So Xbox for me is more of a social gaming console. Whereas PS4 is the games where I want to play my single player games like, you know, Uncharted and the story-based games and things like that. Like I have Borderlands on Xbox and PlayStation. I play Borderlands alone on PlayStation and I play Borderlands with people on Xbox.
And PC. Yeah.
I have more people add me on Xbox than I do PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Xbox has more of a social...
Here's a question for you. The controller, Xbox versus PlayStation, which one do you prefer?
For people are going to hate me for this, but finishing that thought, Xbox is more of a social thing. And I feel like trying to find people to help you with, like if you're like me, a achievement collector and stuff like that, the group system where you put out looking for a group and things is so much better. Smart, and people are more responsive to it than on PS4.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just wanted to finish that thought before I forget that.
As well, yeah.
So, but see, PS4 for me, single player just seems to work better, and the controls for a single player game seems to feel nice. If I'm being honest, playing Apex is better on Xbox than it is PlayStation.
Just the comfortability of the grip.
Yeah, of the grip, and
the offset analog sticks, I think, make a big difference for me when it comes to FPS games.
Yes.
But because of my history with PlayStation and things like Need for Speed Underground, when I play racing games, I prefer...
I'm the same. I prefer a PlayStation analog dual shock controller than I would an Xbox.
I don't know, there's something about having them equally set when you're racing that it just does something different.
The only reason why I don't have a PlayStation controller hooked up to my PC, so at the moment I'm actually struggling with keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
I will play Borderlands progressively through the story, keyboard and mouse, but I have my controller plugged in. So say if I get into a boss fight and I die a couple of times from keyboard and mouse, I just take over on the controller. I just have more control of my character because that's what I'm used to. Like my natural thing is I just know the movements better and I can navigate a bit better. I'm not quite there with mouse and keyboard. It's just a matter of
you're
practicing.
Quite new to it, yeah. So that's fair enough.
But the only reason why I have the Xbox controller connected to that because it's a Microsoft item.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to connect the PS4 and it lags out and I was having so much issue with it.
Like a secondary program for it as well.
And I did and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I take my PS4 with me when I'm doing things or if I'm not busy doing stuff. I don't want to say exactly where, but I have my little laptop and I have a program called, I think it's PS4. Sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. PS4 Share, where it basically is all done via my phone hotspot because I have quite a large amount of data.
Yeah.
And I just play off that. So I use my data as a modem, connect my PlayStation through PS4 Share so I can use my laptop as a screen, basically. And I have to manually connect my thing. But only with that program has it work smoothly. All the other ones, it is either ganky. It's like the reaction to when I'm moving to the game, there's a massive delay, whereas the Xbox controller just is smooth.
Yeah, it's a Windows item basically.
Yeah, so I think it's just that's the only reason why I'd use the Xbox controller for a story-based game on a PC. Because I have to. I'm not necessarily comfortable with it. I'd much rather play FPS with an Xbox controller, which is weird. People are like, oh, they're the same thing. They're not. They're really actually not. There's a bit of a
different feel, 100%. I also like the fact that like you can use a touchpad at the top of the PS4 controller. Like it's just a cool integration. Now bringing it back to like the upcoming consoles, I think they'll be effectively the same thing. And you were saying how is it possible for them to have like 4K, gaming and stuff. Here's the thing. There's a few different stats that they said that they're going to have 4K gaming and they're going to have a 120 FPS, 120 frames per second gaming. And there was one other thing. Oh, the streaming. It's going to be very streaming focused as well. Those, I think, are all separate points. It's not 4K at 120 frames. It's 4K at 60, I reckon. Maybe 30. But definitely, I think they'll be aiming for 60. And then it'll be like 1080 or maybe 1440p at 120 frames. I reckon 1080 and 120 frames is so doable for them.
Okay.
And there has been like somewhat maybe leaks of like the PlayStation 5 design, and it looks like it's really airflow focused, so that they could actually put in some significantly strong components in there and not have it thermally throttle too much. Now, a point I was trying to make at the beginning that I forgot was with like console versus PC. If you pay $600 and you get a console, and you pay $600 and you get a PC, the console will win in performance because they're optimized. Yeah. Versus the
Well, PC. Put it this way, my new PC build cost me about $3,000.
Yeah, including monitors and
that's Australian dollars, by the way. But that included a new keyboard, monitors. I have 2 monitors, and all of the equipment to do the build, including cable combs and all of the other accessories, extra fans and things like that. I think what's made it was about $3,200 because I bought a webcam and a couple of other extra things on top, and it's like a surge board and everything for it to protect it. But having said that, though, I'm noticing a difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Going from console to PC, my PC works so much better.
So much better.
But having said that, though, I think with all these new upgrades to a console, it might bring me back to a bit of console play. But I'm the type of person, I share my wealth around all of my platforms.
Yeah, you just play them all. Because I like playing different characters.
And soon my computer
versus
setup
PC.
will have all of them in the one spot. So
That'd
if
be
I
so-
need to
yeah.
go between, like, say
Just
if
a
I'm going to
quick
be
switch.
streaming, I can just switch over
Mhm.
and do like maybe a Uncharted gameplay or something like that.
Yeah.
So my stream setup will be all in the same spot.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing, is eventually getting it so I can switch my console or my my computer up into my feed and then just have it all nice and seamless. I think my existing Halo Edition Xbox will just become a media center where I can watch Netflix and YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping, and I suspect that they will, with the Xbox Scarlett, which if they call it the Xbox 2, which makes sense, but also doesn't make sense. If they bring out a Halo Edition, which they should be, because they're releasing it with the new Halo game that's going to be coming out.
That'd be interesting. See, that will probably bring me back to Halo. Would you play it though?
Oh, 100%. I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
See,
you might have to deal with me going, what does this do? Because I haven't played it since like Halo 4 Reach or whatever. So
yeah, it's been a while since I played, but I'm going to go back and I'll pick it up quickly. That's the thing, because there's going to be some familiar aspects to it, so I'll pick it up again. But I want to get the Halo Edition of that Xbox.
Yeah. I was just curious as to if you were going to go back and play the game, being that you were very firm on 4 and 5.
I didn't like 4 or 5, yeah.
I think Reach was the last Halo game you kind of really put time and effort into.
Mine was just mostly because like the sounds and the colors and all that kind of stuff were just a bit too off for me to be comfortable with the game. And then it just kind of feeling a bit more like COD than Halo.
Yeah.
And once we got to 4 and it was an instant like respawns, and then like the game mechanics are just a little bit different to the point where now it's like, am I playing COD or am I playing Halo? Like they kind of had like different aspects to it that I appreciate for each game, and I wanted them to stay separate. I didn't want them to become one game type of thing. So yeah, but I'll probably go to it and give it a fair chance, and especially if it comes with the Halo Edition Xbox. It's just kind of in the books already. I'm ready to drop that money. I think it's gonna be more expensive than the previous console releases, just because how much they're focusing on putting really good hardware in there. So.
Yeah. And we'll do performance reviews and everything for PlayStation. I'll get Zuff to do the Xbox one, being that he's more of an Xbox player, and I will do a performance review on PlayStation 4. I think that'd be some good content for you guys.
Have to go and buy myself a 4K TV, just for it.
Well, I mean,
Maybe. Anyways.
But yeah.
Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, I think we've got some exciting stuff as gamers to look forward to in terms of consoles. If you have money to drop on a PC build, I definitely recommend doing it as and even building it yourself, really like researching how to do it.
It's a really interesting process.
It's a really interesting process. It's hard. It is fucking hard, but it's really interesting. I mean, you helped me through half of mine.
Yeah, but
I did most of it, but
you did all of it yourself. You just like, I'm having trouble with this thing. Can you help me with that?
Yeah.
But most of it was just like you built it yourself. You installed all the Windows and programs, everything yourself. And, and
learning how to do that was kind of an amazing experience in itself, because if something fucking happens, I now have a Windows driver. I now have my hardware driver as well on a USB.
Oh, you like your backups and everything.
I've got all backups. I've learned how to do that. So if something happens and I need to do that for somebody else, I know how to talk them through it or make one for them. So that type of thing is really actually, even as a kid and as an adult, to work out how to do is probably really beneficial.
Yeah, I think for like children, like building a computer, just a basic one, it's such a good learning experience, because there's so many things you learn about budgeting. You learn about like allowance of certain things, like how much should you spend on your CPU, on your GPU, on your storage and all that kind of stuff.
And what ones work best with the other one, with the other equipment you're buying, and the components you're buying.
And
I
just
definitely
between systems even.
I mean, you did the build for me. I gave you an idea of what I was working with, and you were like, no, this is better from my experience in this and this, and we got a build together that was worth way more than whoever quoted me last time.
Yeah, but also like when you were quoted last time, GPU prices were through the roof back then, and now they've dropped to a somewhat reasonable level, still a little bit high, I think.
Still high in price, but
the other advantage is now SSD prices are so much lower than they've ever been, and your price to gigabyte is it's so much better.
Yeah.
So now you can put these really fast components and everything's just snappy.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend, if you are a console player, definitely look into doing a PC build or even going into PC, because I mean, I hate this whole master race, and we always joke about which one's being a master race, but really it's entirely your opinion on what you want to game on. But having said that, PC for everything else, and I think running consoles through my PC, being that it's such a powerful PC as well, will make console playing a little bit better for me as well.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like, it's just this next generation of gaming consoles is really exciting because it's kind of like bridging the gap a bit more.
Yes.
And then it's
I think that's where I was getting to, but you said that in a way better way than I was trying to.
It's just going to be interesting to see, because next year there's also more Ryzen chips coming out.
I know.
So it's just
we're actually really
we're so lucky.
We are living in a gaming nerd hardware haven right now, where everything is just getting so much better.
There's so much competition between Intel and Sony.
But that's great. It just
all these
ideas are just flowing for these people, and we're just getting good stuff.
There's the commercial pressure. Like, okay, your competition has now stepped up. Now what are you going to do to either increase your performance for the same price or drop your prices for your current things so that it now makes it like it's worth the price to buy your thing instead.
And whether those price drops actually reel the consumer in more and actually have that trusting, but also having a product that's actually going to keep a consumer trusting of that. Like, I was full Intel based on all the specs and all of the information that I came in, and then you were like, no, AMD. And I've looked that up, and for me personally, and people will like disagree with me completely, but like AMD for me has...
Look, the price of performance, you just can't argue with it.
No.
Like, if you're just starting
affordable, and it's a great start.
It's a great start. And the thing is, like, for things like editing, which is what you need to do for the podcast, it's just like at the price point that we're at, it's just, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you want. Oh, the other thing I wanted to touch on is with the new consoles. I don't know what I think about the fact that, say, Xbox is going to have 3 tiers of performance. Like, they're going to have the Xbox One base edition, slightly amped up edition, and then like the max edition. Kind of, I've heard rumors of that, and I feel like...
I just feel like if you're going to have a 3 tier, just give me the tier 3 and just put it in a price where it's somewhat affordable, but at the same time...
It gives people who say you just want a stripped down version because you can't quite afford the top end console. You still want to get into console gaming, not enough money for a decent computer build. Having like a low end but high performing system.
Maybe then have a 2 tier. Yeah, have the low budget, 2 tier
makes more sense.
Or then the really good one. We don't need a middle tier.
We don't really need it.
You don't need a middle tier. Make the middle tier the low budget one. I mean, I'm sure you can take some of the components out for the higher tier one, but you don't need a 3 tier fucking console thing. Like, that's just
that's getting a bit too much. I think 2 tiers is a good idea. I think you want something for just entry level. It's performs solid and everything, and then you want the high tier one that gets you that the 120 frames that are
like just the gaming experience that you kind of are paying the extra money for.
Yeah, I hope it's not like, I hope it's like $600 to $700 is like the top tier one, maybe $800 maximum, but like $600 to $700 is kind of fair because the Xbox One X at the moment is around $600, right?
Yes.
So it's just like, if you wanted the next generation.
I know. I was so pissed off because I bought my Xbox and then 6 months later they brought out the X and I was like, fuck you all. I hate you.
But that's this thing, like, at the moment we have 3 tiers of Xboxes already. We have the Xbox One original one, the Xbox One S, right? And then we have the Xbox One X. Now, they had their places, but it's like a 2 tier would have been better, like you said.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was just something I wanted to touch on before we wrap it all up.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Anyway, that wraps us up for this episode. So, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm Harley, and
I'm Zuff. And
peace out.
Peace.
Hey guys, Harley here. Did you enjoy that video? Give us a like. If you loved it, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Our socials are linked in the description below. And we're also on Spotify and iTunes, so go and check us out over there. We'd like to know from you if you would like to hear about anything interesting or have any ideas for future podcasts. Drop us a comment and we'll get back to you on those. I'm Harley and this is Gamified. Game on.